What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. I just finished installing Elden Ring on my brand new Meta PC. By the way, promo code The Quartering, save some money on checkout. Awesome company, by the way. And read an article as it was downloading that Elden Ring, I think it's interesting how, if you believe Twitter, which is not real life, as we now know, as we've always known, really, that Elden Ring is a niche game, and that, it's not that big, whatever. It's just a niche game for people that want super duper difficult, soul crushing games, and nobody really wants that. And listen to us four, weirdos that suck at video games and make a career out of whining that video games aren't easy for us. Well, I'm happy to report Elden Ring is now hit the sixth highest player count on Steam in history. That is not a niche game. That is a wildly, wildly popular game. That is not niche. Not niche in the least bit. We're going to get into this and all the amazing salt on Twitter after a quick word from this video sponsor, Meta PCs. Huge shout out to this video sponsor, Meta PCs. Look, you've been around, you know that I've been talking about Meta PCs for a very long time. In fact, it's the primary computer I use. But it's not just because they're a sponsor. It's for so many more reasons. They have fully customizable, configurable PCs and all the hardest to find parts in stock and ready to go. They also have ready to ship PCs ready for you today. Here's a couple reasons why I like Meta PCs. First and foremost, it's veteran ownership. Meta PCs is a veteran-owned business. One of Meta's owners has served both in Afghanistan and Iraq and received a Purple Heart for his service. Meta also employs military veterans in Meta's Operations Center and also provides systems to veterans going back to school to help them re-enter the workforce all across the United States. They offer financing. It has 100% US-based sales and support. And when you receive your PC, it's ready to go right out of the box. You don't have to get complicated and set things up. You just plug it all in and you're ready to rock. And on top of that, Meta PCs is offering you, my viewer, a huge discount when you use the link in the description or you use promo code The Quartering. If you use my code at checkout, not only do you save money, but you support my content and a company that will not bow to cancel culture. So maybe you're not ready to pick up a new computer today, but when you are, remember to go to metapcs.com and use promo code The Quartering to support me and to save money. And everybody wins. Now this via PC Games. It's already one of the best RPGs on PC, and now Elden Ring is one of the most popular games on Steam, not just right now, but ever. According to the latest stats, From Software's latest game now has the sixth highest player count record on Steam, beating out New World, and is just shy of 1 million players on its second weekend. And look, there's a lot of people like me. I like to at least wait a week or two because, there were alleged performance issues on PC and people were having problems with it. So I like to wait a little bit. I feel like, I have a brand new PC now, so if I have performance problems, I don't know if they've actually fixed the ultra-wide monitor support. That would be a real big gripe if they still haven't fixed that. But anyway, Elden Ring is one of the best Dark Souls-esque games around, and clearly players are responding. The RPG already reached over 600,000 concurrent players 1 hour after launch, before finally setting on an excellent peak of 891,000 on its opening weekend. According to SteamDB, Elden Ring has set a new concurrent player count record on its second weekend, 953,426, beats out Amazon's MMO New World, which had a peak of 913,000. It didn't just squeak by it. It beat it by, 5%, 6%, making Elden Ring the sixth biggest game on Steam by concurrent player count and second biggest for a single player game after Cyberpunk 2077, which had a record of 1.054 million. So Elden Ring has still got a lot of way to go before it beats 1 million concurrent players of Cyberpunk 2077's peak. However, its previous week was on record on Sunday. A record was on Sunday, so we'll find out tomorrow if From Software's epic fantasy RPG can push all the way to 1 million concurrent players. Well, I'll tell you this much. I'll be playing tomorrow. and I'll be a brand new player. So, you know, as the initial wave of people beat the game, then obviously you'll have a dip there. You probably, I imagine games peak, you know, by the second or third week and probably never really get bigger than that, except for the rare occasion where you have like a Fortnite type thing, or, you know, games that aren't super duper popular when they launch and then they get popular later. So it's interesting. You can see Benji already signs Elden Ring's legs are going to be very strong. It has set a new concurrent player peak on Steam in its second weekend. At 953,000, it surpassed New World to become the 6th biggest game ever on Steam. This is very rare. Most games peak on their first weekend. So this game actually peaked on the second, and now we're into the third weekend. It may even get bigger because all the great press about the game. And look, I can't really speak to the difficulty of it. You know, I don't think, you know, I'm going to worry about that. I grew up playing games like Ninja Gaiden and Battletoads. So, you know, you can't really tell me much about a game being too difficult. But then, you know, the absolute salt on Twitter has been hilarious too. You can see Ashley Lynch here saying she's like a well-known complainer, followed by feminist frequency is all you need to know. I'm so dang tired of this get good discourse. Your experience isn't affected one iota by the presence of difficulty sliders. Games are too darn expensive to make them solely for a niche masochistic audience. Niche! This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. I'll even reply in real time. I'll say, Elden Ring is currently the 6th most popular game on Steam ever. That's some niche. So, and again, like, brought to you by the very same people that are always saying this isn't for you, right? Like, oh, if you don't like it, don't buy it. Or, well, this isn't a product for you. Well, maybe From Software doesn't care about whiny, red, you know, sprightly colored hair people who don't, you know, who want to complain about video games for a living instead of getting any better. Look, I agree that having a difficulty slider doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form. But that's not the product From Software wants to put out. And you can already see, quite honestly, how well that works for them. Like, they have this reputation of their games being difficult, and that actually makes people want to play them. Obviously, they have good games, too. The games in and of themselves are good, but, like, the mystique. Here's somebody saying, I don't think the audience is that niche. From has been doing this for more than 10 years, and they clearly found their audience. Why should they appease you? They don't need any help making their game more successful. Elden Ring is the biggest UK video game launch since Call of Duty Vanguard, 2.5 times the sales as Horizon Forbidden West, biggest non-Call of Duty FIFA game since Red Dead Redemption 2, Week 1 sales bigger than Cyberpunk 2077 and Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And you end up with, like, you know, all of these people on Twitter endlessly trying to call the game niche. What that is mental gymnastics. They're saying, well, and honestly, here's the sad thing. I don't think these people are inherently bad at video games. I think they're inherently bad at life. That they don't want to do even a modicum of work to get better at something tells you more about who they are, I think, as a person than really the difficulty of the video game. Their first thing, you know, their identity says, let me go on Twitter and complain about a game that maybe isn't for me, rather than actually either accepting that it isn't for you, which many people say. Look, when I made fun of She-Ra, I had thousands of lunatics in my mentions on Twitter constantly saying, why are you complaining? The show's not for you. And they're the very same lunatics now that are saying, well, I want to play Elden Ring and I don't want to do any work. Because let's be honest, Elden Ring and none of the Souls games are like quote unquote impossible. None of those games are anywhere near as difficult as Ninja Gaiden was, or Battletoads, or like, my whole shelf of Nintendo games. Okay? None of those games were as soul-crushing as many of the games you played, a lot of us grew up playing. These people who complain about Elden Ring being difficult have probably never worked for anything in their life. They have no idea what it's like to overcome something, because when the going gets tough for them, they quit. And the worst part about it is that they blame everyone else. They justify it by saying, this game is for a niche of players that their default is like, most people also suck at video games and don't want to try even a little bit harder to play them. That's their default setting, because that's how they convince themselves that it's a niche thing. Like, it's sad. It's not me. It must be, is it I that am wrong? Or is it the students meme? Like, literally. And like, look, I have sympathy for people who have physical disabilities that want to enjoy these games as much as we do. Jesus. As people, like, maybe without them, I'll say. And I get that. That sucks. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about, like, people, able-bodied people who, like, are whining that a game is too difficult. These, again, are the same people that said it wasn't, that their thing isn't for me, so, but I'm not allowed to say my thing's not for them. I look forward to games from FromSoft because they are unique in their difficulty. You see, FromSoft is trending today on Twitter, but most people are defending it. Christina Tasty writes, people say combat FromSoft games is too hard. If Twitter is anything to go by, the hardest thing to do in Elden Ring is accept that the game just isn't your thing without being a huge dingleberry. Good. You know, gatekeeping is good. You just don't like it when the game doesn't apply to you. This is why FromSoft does well. They don't let bad people influence their games, so they continue to be good. Gatekeeping is gatekeeping your favorite games gatekeep your favorite games before they stop being your favorite. I actually wouldn't. I actually have come around. I think gatekeeping is a great thing. I really do. Not everything should be for everyone, and so you don't get this like homogeneous group of video games like Marvel movies, right? They have no soul because they're supposed to be for everyone. There's nothing unique about a Marvel movie, and it's kind of the way big video game makers get influenced, and you lose the soul of your game. I'm extremely excited to play this game, and I'm very happy that they continue to have huge success selling it, because that just means they're going to keep doing their thing. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.